Exodus chapter 9. Yo, Moses, listen up. God is telling you to slide up into Pharaoh's DMs and hit him with this message. God, the ultimate squad leader of the Hebrews, wants his peeps to be free from bondage so they can flex their worship game for him. Like if you're going to keep refusing to let them go and just cling unto them, check it out. The Lord's power is going to affect all your animals out in the field, like cows, horses, donkeys, camels, oxen, and sheep. It's going to be a seriously bad disease, dudes. The Lord's going to straight up separate the animals of Israel from those of Egypt. And none of the children of Israel's families will die or anything. No worries, fam. And God was like, listen up. Tomorrow, I'm going to make some epic moves happen in this place. You feel me? And the Lord did that thing the next day. And all the cows in Egypt died. But not a single cow belonging to the children of Israel died. So Pharaoh hit him up, and guess what? None of the Israelites' cows were dead. The Pharaoh's heart stayed stubborn, and he still refused to let the people bounce. So God was like, hey, Moses and Aaron, grab some ashes from the furnace and have Moses sprinkle it toward the sky in front of Pharaoh. And like Egypt is going to be covered in this tiny, super tiny dust that's going to cause like these nasty boils and blisters to appear on people and animals all over the place throughout the whole land of Egypt. They grabbed some ashes from the furnace and stood in front of Pharaoh. Then Moses sprinkled it up towards the sky, and boom, everything started breaking out in gnarly boils on people and animals alike. So like the magicians couldn't even handle Moses, man. They were totally covered in gross boils, just like all the other Egyptians. So like God totally made Pharaoh's heart stubborn, and he like didn't listen to Moses and them, just as God had said, So like God was straight up talking to Moses and was all like, dude, wake up early in the morning and go stand in front of Pharaoh. Then say to him, this is what the Lord, the God of Hebrews, is saying. Let my people bounce so they can worship me, because I'm about to unleash all my epic disasters on you, your crew, and all your peeps. Just so you realize there's no one cooler than me in the entire world. I'm about to flex and bring down some serious fire. Gonna hit you and your squad with sick plagues, and you'll be wiped off the face of the earth. And for real, I deliberately brought you into existence to flex my strength through you and make sure everyone knows my name all over the world. By the way, when it says raise, it means made you stand. Why are you still acting all high and mighty, refusing to let my people go? Listen up. Tomorrow at this exact time, I'm going to make it rain super intense hail, like nothing Egypt has ever seen before, not even since the beginning. So like go and gather all your animals and stuff that you have in the field. If you don't bring them home, then half will come down on them and they'll like die and stuff. Then hail will come down on them and they'll die and stuff. The dude who respected the word of the Lord like totally made his servants and his animals bounce into the houses, man. And anyone who didn't pay attention to what the Lord said, well, they just left their peeps and their animals out in the field. Hashtag oops. Hashtag should have been listening. And God was like, Moses, raise your hand up to the sky so there can be massive hail all over Egypt. It's going to hit people, animals, and every single plant in the whole land, bro. So Moses like straight up lifted his staff towards the sky, and then boom, the Lord sent some major thunder and hail with fire blazing on the ground too. And yep, the Lord made it rain hail like crazy all over Egypt. It was wild, guys. There was this crazy storm with hail and fire mixed in, like the gnarliest combo ever. Seriously, nothing like it had ever happened in Egypt before. Absolute madness, man. So like this super intense hailstorm hit Egypt and wrecked everything in sight. Plants, trees, and even people and animals out in the open. It was really wild, man. In the Goshen region where the Israelite fam were, there wasn't any mad hailstorm going on. So Pharaoh hit them up and was like, Moses and Aaron, I messed up big time. The big man upstairs is totally in the right, and me and my crew are wicked, no cap. Like ask the Lord, because seriously, it's getting old, to stop with all the booming thunder and hailstorms, and I'll give you the green light to bounce. No more delays, I promise. Those thunder things were intense, man. Moses told him, once I dip out of the city, I'm going to raise my hands up to the Lord, and you'll see the thunder will cheer and there won't be any more hail. This is going to prove to you that the earth belongs to the Lord. But like I totally know that you and your squad aren't going to be showing any respect to the Lord God just yet. And like, dude, the flax and the barley got totally messed up, bro, because the barley was in the stage where it's all sprouted, and the flax was flowering, man. But the wheat and the rye were totally unharmed because they hadn't fully grown yet. They were still hidden like in the dark. So Moses left the city and approached the Lord, raising his hands up high. And then like the crazy thunderstorms and hail stopped, and no more rain fell on the ground. And when Pharaoh peeped that the rain and the hail and the mega loud thunders were done, he like totally sinned even harder and straight up toughened his heart along with his whole crew. But like Pharaoh's heart was all stubborn and stuff. And he was like, no way, I'm not letting the Israelite kids go. Just as the Lord had said through Moses, you know. Exodus chapter 10. And God was like, yo, Moses, go talk to Pharaoh because I made him and his squad stubborn on purpose so I can flex my miracles in front of him, you know. So you can pass on the story to your kid and your grandkid and let them know all the epic stuff I did in Egypt. The mind-blowing miracles I performed. It's all to show that I'm the ultimate boss, the Lord. So Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and told him, like the Lord God of the Hebrews is like, dude, how much longer are you going to keep being all stubborn and not show some respect? Just let my people go so they can do their thing and serve me, you feel? Yo, if you keep fronting and won't let my squad bounce, check it. Tomorrow, I'm unleashing swarms of locusts straight to your turf. So basically, they're going to be all over the place, like you won't even be able to see the ground. And they'll chow down on whatever's left after the crazy hailstorm, including all the trees in your field. FYI, face in Hebrew means eye. And they'll totally pack your crib and your servants' cribs and all the cribs in Egypt, mate. Like, this is legit stuff, and not even your oldies or your oldies, not even your oldies or their oldies have ever witnessed from back in the day till now. And then he bailed on Pharaoh just like that. Pharaoh's squad was like, yo, how much longer are we going to let this dude mess with us? Let the homies bounce and do their thing for the Lord, their God. Don't you realize that Egypt is already wrecked? So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh, and he told him, okay, go and worship the Lord your God. But tell me, who is exactly going? Like, who's in the squad? So Moses was like, yo, everyone's coming on this trip. Young, old, sons, daughters, flocks, herds. We're all going. Got to throw a lit feast for the Lord. And he was like, may the Lord be with you all, just as I'll let you and your little ones go. But be careful, though, because danger is in front of you. No, it's all good. You guys should just bounce and do your thing for the Lord like you wanted to. Then Pharaoh straight up kicked them out of his crib. So God said to Moses, yo, dude, reach out your hand over Egypt because we about to bring some locusts up in here. They gonna munch all the plants that got left by the hail. No chill. So Moses whipped out his staff and held it up in Egypt. And the Lord brought a sick east wind that lasted the entire day and night. And when morning came, the east wind brought in a swarm of locusts. And so like these locusts straight up covered all of Egypt. And they like chilled out all over the place, man. It was like super intense. There had never been locusts like that before. And there won't be any like them ever again. Like they totally covered the whole earth and it got super dark because they ate up all the plants and the fruits that were left after the hailstorm. Literally no green stuff was left on the trees or in the fields throughout the entire land of Egypt. So Pharaoh was like, yo, Moses and Aaron, come here ASAP. And he was like, guys, I totally messed up big time. I sinned against the Lord your God and against you. So like I really messed up this one time. But can you like ask God to forgive me and just like remove this punishment of death? So he bounced out of Pharaoh's presence and straight up pleaded with the Lord. Then God totally unleashed a sick, strong west wind that straight up yeeted the locusts and chucked them into the Red Sea, leaving zero locusts anywhere in Egypt. Not a single one, fam. But like God totally made Pharaoh's heart super stubborn. So he wouldn't even let the Israelite squad bounce. And God was like, yo, Moses, raise your hand towards the sky so that darkness can cover all of Egypt. And it's going to be like super intense darkness. You can legit feel it, you know, like it's going to be next level darkness. So Moses like raised his hand to the sky, and then like a super intense darkness covered the whole land of Egypt for 3 whole days, man. They didn't even see each other or leave their spots for 3 whole days. But all the peeps of Israel had mad light in their cribs. So Pharaoh hit up Moses and was like, yo, go do your thing and worship the Lord. But keep your animals in check and don't forget to bring your little ones with you. Moses was like, yo, we need some sacrifices and burnt offerings so we can worship the Lord our God. It's essential, like hook us up with that. Us in Hebrew is into our hands. Our cows are coming along too. None of them are staying behind because we got to bring them to serve the Lord our God. And we have no clue what else we're going to need to serve the Lord until we get there. But God totally made Pharaoh's heart super stubborn. So he straight up refused to let the people go. Pharaoh was like, yo, get out of my sight and don't ever come back. If you show your face around here again, you're going to be toast. And Moses was like, yo, you got some good points here. I'm out of here. Won't be seeing your face again. Exodus chapter 11. And God was like, yo, Moses, I got one more big bad thing coming for Pharaoh and Egypt. After that, he's definitely going to let you all bounce. And when he finally lets y'all go, he's going to straight up kick y'all out for real. Yo, listen up, fam. Go tell everyone to ask their homies for some bling, both the guys and the girls, like silver and gold jewelry. God made the Egyptians really like the Israelites, and Moses was super popular in Egypt. Everyone loved him, even the Pharaoh's servants and the regular people. Yo, Moses was like, listen up, peeps. The Lord has spoken, and he's like around midnight. I'm going to make a grand exit. I'm going to make a grand exit right in the heart of Egypt, Yo, listen up. In Egypt, all the oldest peeps from the main homie, Pharaoh's firstborn, to the firstborn, or even the lowest servants, gonna pass away. And don't forget, even the firstborn animals ain't spared. And there's going to be like a huge cry all over Egypt, like totally unprecedented. Never going to happen again. But no dog will even bark at any of the Israelites, whether they're human or animal. This is so you'll understand that the Lord sets the Egyptians and the Israelites apart from each other. And all your homies will come to me and show me respect, saying, peace out, take all your followers with you, and then I'll bounce. And he left Pharaoh mad. I ain't going to read the rest of that. And God was like, yo, Moses, just so you know, Pharaoh ain't going to listen to you. I'm just trying to flex my mad miracles all over Egypt. So like Moses and Aaron totally pulled off all these mind-blowing miracles right in front of Pharaoh. But get this, the Lord made Pharaoh's heart super stubborn, like rock solid, so he wouldn't let the Israelite squad bounce out of his territory. Exodus chapter 12. So like God straight up starts talking to Moses and Aaron while they're still in Egypt. And this is what he said, yo fam, this month is going to be the start of all months, like the OG month of the year. And you know what I'm saying? Yo, tell the Israel peeps this, on the 10th day of this month, each bro got to snatch a lamb for his crib, depending on his fam lineage. One lamb per fam, you dig? Lamb can also mean a kid, FYI. If there aren't enough people in the house to finish the lamb, let the guy and his next door friend team up and split it based on everyone's appetite. Each person should eat their fair share of the lamb. Make sure your lamb is absolutely flawless, a young male that's only a year old, whether from the sheep or the goats. Take it out for the sacrifice. And you got to keep it going until the 14th day of that same month. And the whole squad of Israel peeps going to slay it in the evening. Hebrew, between the two evenings. And they got to take some of the blood and smack it on the two side posts and on top of the door frame of the houses where they're going to chow down. And they got to chow down on that meat cooked up with some fire and have it with some unleavened bread. And don't forget the bitter herbs. They got to eat it all together. Don't eat it raw or boil with water, but grill it up. Cook the whole thing, head, legs, and all the guts. And don't leave anything until morning. Whatever's left, you got to burn it up with fire before morning hits. So like, here's how you should eat it. Be ready to go with your jeans on. You didn't wear jeans, just say your clothes on and your favorite kicks. And hold your phone in one hand, ready to leave quickly. No, hold your staff in your hand. Don't waste time. It is the Lord's Passover vibes. Yo, tonight I'm going to roll through Egypt and teach them a lesson. I'm going to take out all the firstborn, no matter if they're human or animal. And guess what? I'm not just going to mess with the people, but I'm also going to show those Egyptian gods who's boss. It's time for some serious judgment. And let me tell you, I'm the Lord. So I call the shots. Or should I say the princes? And the blood will be like a signal on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I'll skip over you, and the plague won't come to wreck you when I strike Egypt to destroy, or Hebrew for destruction. So like this day is going to be super memorable, and you got to celebrate it with a lit feast for the Lord throughout all your future generations. It's going to be a never-ending celebration, like an epic tradition that never goes out of style. Yo, for a whole week, y'all better be chowing down on that flatbread. No yeast allowed. Just make sure to ditch any leavening in your crib on day one. Because if anyone dares to munch on that leavened bread from day one all the way till day 7, they gonna be straight up exiled from Israel, fam. On the first day, there's gonna be a super chill gathering. And on the 7th day, there's gonna be another super chill gathering for you. You gotta take a break from the work on those days, except for getting your grub on. That's totally cool and necessary. By the way, man means soul in Hebrew. And you got to celebrate the unleavened bread feast, because on this exact day, I saved your crew from Egypt. So make sure y'all keep on celebrating this day for all future generations, because it's going to be a forever tradition. On the first month, on the 14th day of the month, in the evening, you got to chow down on some unleavened bread till the 21st day of the month in the evening. For a whole week, you got to make sure there's no leaven in your crib. Because anyone who eats leavened stuff gonna be straight up banned from Israel, fam, whether they're new in town or OG native. Don't chow down or eat or on anything leavened. Only munch on that unleavened bread, no matter where you're at. So Moses gathered all the OGs of Israel and was like, yo, get a lamb or a kid, if you prefer, for each of your fams and go slay that Passover sacrifice. And you got to grab some hyssop and dip it in the blood in the bowl. Then go ahead and sprinkle the blood on the doorway and the side posts. And nobody can leave their crib until the next morning. Yo, the Lord gonna straight up come through and wreck those Egyptians. But when he peeps the blood on the door frame and on the 2 side panels, he gonna pass right over that door, not letting the destroyer come in to wreck your houses and mess with y'all. And you got to keep doing this thing like forever, both for yourself and for your future kids, okay? And like when you finally reach the land that the Lord is hooking you up with, just as he promised, you got to keep this whole service thing going, you know? So like one day when your kids are like, yo, what's the deal with this whole service thing? So you got to be like, yo, this is the lit sacrifice for the Lord's Passover. When he flexed and passed over the houses of the fam Israel in Egypt, he straight up clapped the Egyptians and saved our crib, and the whole fam showed respect and worship. So like the Israelites bounced and totally followed the instructions from the Lord that Moses and Aaron had passed on to them. They were totally obedient, no doubt. So like this totally happened, bro. In the middle of the night, the Lord totally went all supernatural and struck down every firstborn in the land of Egypt. Yeah, from the super important firstborn son of Pharaoh, all the way down to the firstborn prisoners stuck in the dungeon. And even the firstborn animals got affected, man. By the way, dungeon means like house of the pit, in case you didn't know. Then Pharaoh and all his peeps, along with everyone in Egypt, panicked real hard in the middle of the night. It was a total freak out, yo. There wasn't a single crib in the whole place when someone didn't end up biting the dust. So like God summoned Moses and Aaron in the middle of the night and was like, yo, get up and get out of here with the people of Israel. Go serve the Lord just like you said you would. Yo, grab your homies and all your animals like you said. Dip out of here and show some love by blessing me too. The Egyptians were totally pressuring everyone to leave and the land ASAP because they thought we were all going to kick the bucket. So like the people snagged their dough before it had time to rise, and they wrapped up their kneading tools in their clothes and carried them on their shoulders. You know, just saying, kneading troughs, in other words, for dough, if you can catch my drift. So, like the Israelites totally listened to Moses, right? And they just straight up asked the Egyptians for all their fancy bling, silver and gold jewels, and even some stylish clothes. And the Lord made the Egyptians think the Israelites were pretty cool. So the Egyptians totally hooked them up with whatever they needed. And guess what? The Israelites ended up taking a bunch of stuff from the Egyptians. And the family of Israel bounced from Ramses to Succoth with like 600,000 dudes on foot, not counting the kiddos. And like a bunch of different people went with them, and they brought along a ton of animals, like a ridiculous amount of cows and stuff. So they made some plain cakes from the dough they brought from Egypt. They didn't add any yeast because they had to hurry and leave Egypt, and they didn't have time to prepare any proper food. So like the Israelite squad, they were chilling in Egypt for a solid 430 years. And after waiting for a long, long time, exactly 430 years to be precise, it finally happened. On that very day, all the squads of the Lord dipped out of Egypt like, peace out, homies. Yo, this is a lit night to remember for the Lord, because he brought the Israelites out of Egypt. Like, it's the night for all future generations of the children of Israel to celebrate and remember. Hashtag night of observation. And God was like, yo, Moses and Aaron, this is the rule for Passover. No random person can grub on that feast. But like if you purchase a servant with cash, and then you like go and circumcise him, well, then he can totally have a bite of it. Don't let any outsiders or hired help chow down on it, okay? You got to chow down on that food all in one crib. Don't take any of that meat outside the house. And make sure you keep those bones intact, no flexing. Everybody in the Israel crew got to keep it. Actually do it. If someone new comes to chill with you and wants to celebrate Passover, make sure all the dudes get circumcised first. Then they can join in. Treat them like they're one of the homies from the land, because only the circumcised ones can feast on it. Everyone, whether they're a local or a visitor, abides by the same rules. And all the Israelite fam did exactly as the Lord told Moses and Aaron. No questions asked. And on that very day, the Lord let the cool peeps of Israel out of Egypt with their squads. Exodus chapter 13. And God spoke to Moses like, dude, listen up. Yo, set apart for me all the firstborn, no matter if they be human or animal, from the children of Israel. They belong to me, straight up. Yo, listen up, fam. Moses was like, yo, peeps, never forget this day when we totally bounced out of Egypt, straight out of enslavement, like the Lord totally flexed his power and saved us from that place. So we got to ditch the leavened bread. No more of that. Bondage in Hebrew for servants, FYI. Yo, fam, today is the day you dipped out in the month called Abib. And when the Lord takes you to the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, and Jebusites, just like he promised your ancestors, a place that all abundant and awesome, make sure you celebrate this occasion every year. For a whole week, you got to stick to unleavened bread. And on the seventh day, it's time to throw down and celebrate for the Lord. You got to eat that unleavened bread for a whole week, and don't even think about having any unleavened bread around. No leaven allowed anywhere in your crib. And on that day, you got to tell your kid like, yo, this happened because the Lord straight up saved me when I pieced out of Egypt. And this is going to be like a cool accessory on your hand and like a dope reminder right between your eyes, so that you always keep God's law on your lips. Because the Lord totally flexed and rescued you from Egypt with some serious power moves. So make sure to keep following this tradition every year at the right time. And when the Lord takes you to the Canaanites' land, just like he promised to you and your ancestors, and gives it to you, you got to dedicate anything that's firstborn or opens the womb to the Lord, whether it's a person or an animal. The dues belong to the Lord. So like if your firstborn donkey happens, you got to trade it for a lamb. And if you're not down with that, then you got to break its neck, bro. Oh, and by the way, any firstborn human in your fam, you got to redeem them too. Just a heads up, you can also replace a lamb with kid if you're into that. And when your kid asks you in the future, yo, what's up with this? You got to tell them, yo, the Lord straight up flexed his power and got us out of Egypt. where we were all trapped. You feel like that's how it went down, fam. Tomorrow's another day, just so you know. So, like when Pharaoh was being super stubborn about letting us leave, the Lord went ahead and took all the firstborn in Egypt, both peeps and animals. That's why I make sacrifice to the Lord with all the male animals that are born first. But when it comes to my own kids, I redeem them instead and wear it as a symbol on your hand and between your eyebrows to always remember that the Lord rescued us from Egypt through his might, his awesome power. So, like when Pharaoh finally let the peeps go, God didn't lead them through the land of the Philistines, even though it was like closer and stuff, because God was like, maybe if they see war action, they'll freak out and want to go back to Egypt, you know. But God guided the peeps like on the wild journey through the wilderness by the Red Sea. And the Israelites went all decked out like 5 in a row as they left Egypt, you know. They were organized and ready to go. So Moses grabbed Joseph's bones because he had made a serious promise to the Israelites. He said, don't worry, God's got your back. And when you bounce from this place, make sure my bones come along too. Then they left Succoth and set up camp in Etham right on the edge of the wilderness. And God was there for them, guiding their path during the day with a rad cloud and lighting up their lights with a lit fire, their nights with a lit fire, so they could travel both day and night. He didn't get rid of the thick clouds during the day or the lit fires at night in front of the crowd. Exodus chapter 14. Yo, God hit up Moses and was like, yo, tell the Israel fam to turn up and chill near Pahaneroth, between Migdal and the sea, in front of Baal Zephon. They got a camp right by the sea, no doubt. Pharaoh's going to be like, yo, those Israel kids stuck up in this place. The wilderness got them trapped. I'm going to make Pharaoh stubborn so that he'll chase after them. And I'll show off my power to Pharaoh and his crew, just so the Egyptians can see that I'm the big boss. And yep, that's exactly what happened. So like word got to the king of Egypt that the people bounced, and Pharaoh and his squad got all mad and started hating on the people. They were like, why did we let Israel go? What were we thinking? Then he got his whip and gathered his squad, and he flexed with 600 epic chariots and snagged all the sick chariots of Egypt, with captains slaying the game on each one of them. And God made Pharaoh, king of Egypt, stubborn, and he went after the children of Israel, and the children of Israel left confidently. So like the Egyptians totally went after them with all their horses and chariots and stuff, along with their horsemen and their whole army, and caught up with them at the sea near this place called Pahaneroth, just before Baal Zephon. So Pharaoh came closer, and the Israelites looked up and saw the Egyptians marching behind them. They were really scared and started crying out to the Lord. Yo, they were like, Moses, seriously? Were there not enough graves in Egypt? Did you really bring us out here in the wilderness just to die? Why you got to do us like that and take us out of Egypt? Hey, remember when we were told you in Egypt to leave us alone so we could serve the Egyptians? We thought it would be better to be their servants than to die out here in the wilderness. And Moses was like, hey, don't even trip, you guys. Just chill out and watch the Lord saves us today. Like, seriously, you won't even see those Egyptians again. It's going to be lit. God's got your back, so chillax and let him handle it. God was like, yo, Moses, why are you crying out to me? Instead, talk to the Israelite squad and tell them to keep moving forward. Okay, so here's the game plan. Take your rod, flex it up, and extend your hand over the sea, like you're about to drop a sick beat. Then watch the magic happens as the sea splits into two. Or watch the power happen. I don't like the word magic. Creating a rad pathway for the kids of Israel to strut their stuff on dry ground, right through the middle of the sea. So get this. I'm going to make the Egyptians' hearts super stubborn, and they're going to chase after the Israelites. And here's the best part. I'm going to totally flex on Pharaoh and his crew, including his sick chariots and epic horsemen. It's going to be legendary. And all those Egyptians will realize that I am the Lord once I show my power over Pharaoh, his cool chariots, and his squad of horsemen. So like this angel from God who was leading the Israel peeps bounced to the back and started following them. You won't believe it. But the cloud thingy that was guiding them, it moved from in the front of them and stood behind them. Crazy, right? So this big cloud thing appeared between the Egyptian camp and the Israelite camp. It was all dark and spooky for the Egyptians, but for the Israelites, it actually lit up the night. This crazy cloud kept the Egyptians and Israelites separate all through the night, so there was no chance of them getting close to each other. So Moses totally raised his hand and flexed it over the sea. And then the Lord was like, yo, I got this. He made this epic strong wind blow all night from the east. And guess what? It actually made the sea pull a reverse Uno card, transforming it into solid ground and splitting the waters in half. Talk about a total power move. So like the Israelites totally walked through the sea on this like super dry ground. And get this, the water was like a wall on the right and on the left. How epic is that? So like the Egyptians were totally chasing after them, and they even went into the sea with all Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and horsemen. Then like in the morning, the Lord peeped on the Egyptian crew through the fire and cloud thingy and totally wrecked them. And they popped the wheels off their fancy chariots, causing them to move painfully slow. The Egyptians were like, yo, let's bounce and run away from Israel, because the Lord is totally backing them up, fighting against us. So God said to Moses, yo, dude, extend your hand over the sea and let the water come back, totally drenching those Egyptians, their fancy chariots, and those horse dudes. And Moses straight up extended his hand over the sea. And when morning arrived, the sea was like, I'm back. And the Egyptians were like, peace, I'm out. But the Lord straight up wrecked the Egyptians in the middle of the sea, overthrew, like shook off. Then the water came back and totally wrecked the chariots and the horse guys and all Pharaoh's squad that followed them into the sea. Not a single one of them made it out alive. So the Israelites straight up walked on dry ground through the middle of the sea, fam. The water was like a solid wall on their right and left, keeping them safe and sound. So like God totally saved Israel from the Egyptians on that epic day. And then when Israel looked, they saw those Egyptians lying dead on the beach by the sea. It was crazy. And Israel saw how epic the Lord's moves were against the Egyptians. The people were shook and had mad respect for the Lord and straight up believed in the Lord and his homeboy Moses. Hashtag miracle hands. All right, we're going to stop right there. Just want to make sure I cover that. That's it. All right. Put in the comment section, this is the word of the Lord. Follow, like, and subscribe. Hit that arrow at the bottom of the screen and share this video. Shall we pray? Father, we thank you for this Passover observance and celebration that we've just read about, and the fact that after so long and so much trouble and so much difficulty, you brought the Israelites out of Egypt with a mighty outstretched hand. And I pray that that same delivering power would be exemplified to people that are tuned in today, that you'd watch over them. So many people feel like they're trapped. Sometimes life makes you feel like you're trapped. But God, we thank you for this exodus, this way out. And we thank you for a release of pressure and stress. Take the stress away and the pressure away. And God, give your people the fortitude and the strength to be able to stand no matter what they face. And we ask this all in the name of Jesus. And we thank you for it and call it done. Let everyone say, thank God. Amen. And put in the comment section, this is the word of the Lord. And make sure you invite somebody to join in with us daily as we read through the Bible.